During the course of the last week, I've done all I could to promote this rally as a positive thing for Maryland and for the country in regards to gun rights. And all I've come up against in Maryland is conservatives who are against the rally. That's right, conservatives. So let's look at one of these groups. They're on social media, they have a radio show or a podcast or whatever they like to call it, and they've come out against the rally pretty vehemently, and actually are smearing my name on social media because of the rally. Now this all began almost immediately when I was starting to promote the rally. I got a reply on Twitter from a place called Red Maryland. They deem themselves a conservative blog, a conservative outlet for media or media outlet, but unfortunately what I've come to find out is they're far from that. So they replied to my tweet and said, no, don't go to the rally. Does that make any sense to anyone? You'll find out later why I'm saying does that make any sense to anyone. But let's continue. A week goes by. I'm continuing to, promote the rally as anyone would. And then I get multiple mentions in Twitter in regard to this radio show that Red Maryland has. And it's telling people that I'm an out-of-stater, that I'm promoting something that's useless, and that I'm not even known, but they're gonna break it down for everyone and take me to task for the rally. So we went back and forth with some tweets. Back and forth, they think people should go knock on doors, I'm trying to promote the rally, etc. Now, again, remind you, conservative blog, supposedly. So I got tired of them smearing my name. I mean, they smeared it on Facebook, on Twitter, on their website, and, pretty much anywhere they could. Basically calling me an out-of-stater, calling me someone who has no idea what I'm doing in Maryland, saying that the rally is useless, etc. And then I put out a tweet to them, and I said, look, I recommend you take down everything in my name. You take down everything related to, smearing me, using my own hashtag that I've created, BursFacts, which, if you go look at it, is all stuff against anti-gun, fictitious kind of propaganda out there. But for some reason, you're going to use it to, slander a rally in my name. So I recommended they take it down. And then they doubled down on stupid and replied and created a tweet that called me a snowflake. So I've always said, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Here's your stupid prize, Red Maryland. So let's listen to some of the parts of their radio show in which they want to take me to task in regard to the rally. Number one.
It just kills us because we've seen these rallies, particularly with our friends in the Second Amendment. We see these rallies, we see these get-togethers, but when time comes to get people who support the Second Amendment elected, you guys are often missing in action.
And then complaining after the fact that guys and gals who support the Second Amendment didn't get elected when you took no positive action to do anything about it. You then just complain about the people who did get elected, and usually complaining about the allies who got elected who couldn't get as much done as they wanted because there's not enough of them.
So supposedly, Red Maryland, endorsed by the governor no less with the governor's citation, is telling Second Amendment lovers in Maryland, you don't go out to vote. And my whole point in doing this is just to get you some exposure, Red Maryland. I mean, I'm not sure you even have that great a reach. I mean, we'll go into that a little bit later in regards to your, reach as far as you get stuff out there on the internet, which is pretty small, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I just want to help you with that. So that's why I'm doing this. Number two. People that came to him.
2013.
So
there was
By the way, I don't know
2013.
where he's shooting this. Where these pictures in his video are from. They're clearly not from Maryland.
No.
So you've been in the political game here in Maryland since what, 2007, 2008, 2006, somewhere around that time frame. You've been promoting all kinds of politics in Maryland. But you seem to have forgotten the Second Amendment rally in 2013 in Maryland. Here's some video.
And I agreed with them, Ken. You don't need an assault weapon to go hunting. But I said, imagine if you will, just for a second, on that glorious day when our revolution was just about to start, as the most powerful army at that time, the British Redcoats started making their way across the Atlantic. What if there had been a bill passed that says, you know what, all you need is a bow and arrow to go hunting with? And as they made their way across with their muskets, all we had were our bow and arrows, we would not be standing here with the privilege of the Second Amendment or the greatest nation that the world has ever seen.
I mean, there was only like, what, 5 or 10 people there? I mean, it's easy to forget. There's so little, numbers there and no speakers whatsoever that really matter, right? But you guys are the conservative media outlet that's getting the news out there and that knows everything in regards to Maryland politics. 2013 was not that long ago. Number 3.
Yeah, he's so low in the pecking order that he got Maryland. So he's trying to play his part.
It's so disgusting in the manner in which you laugh about your own state, which are rights you supposedly support, and which you failed to get through. But you're laughing about it, because you guys are useless. Number 4.
There is no such thing as the Capitol ground.
That's right. That's why you can't do it on the Capitol grounds, because number one, it'd be the... Oh, God, you're so stupid.
Also, he wouldn't be calling the State House the Capitol. But hey, what do I know? I've just lived here for 37 years.
He's a new resident.
Oh,
God, I hate people like this.
So if you go to the Maryland State House's website, for those who don't know, the Maryland State House, Capital of Maryland. If you go to their website and look at their About page, within the first 2 sentences it says it's the oldest Capitol building in the country. So when I say Capitol grounds, people kind of know what that means, except for doofuses like yourself. Number 5.
So this jabroni, Captain Burrs, because these people never use their real name.
Yeah, well, they're afraid they'll be... I mean, he's got
his photograph all over the place. He's got his website where he's got the ridiculous number of YouTube followers.
If you go to Red Maryland's About page and go to their founder has a single name. If you go to the Twitter page of that person, they also have the same singular name. Maybe it's their last name, maybe it's not, but it seems like no one really knows their full name. So you're calling me out for having some sort of a different name than my own on the internet when your own founder has a very, very similar stature on the internet. I mean, we're going to have to keep going here. Number 6.
You're coming all the way from Pennsylvania to stand around in an empty lawyer's mall with people who already agree with you. Right, and if he's from Pennsylvania, why isn't he in Harrisburg?
Where they also have state and local elections next Tuesday.
If you can follow along, and I know that, staying on task is kind of difficult for you guys, if you follow along, you realize that I might be from Pennsylvania, but I'm a resident in Maryland. I live in Maryland. And I do things for the state of Maryland. I volunteer at the Maryland Food Bank. I run the 5K every year and raise money for the Ronald McDonald House 5K. So I'm not sure exactly. And if you actually looked at my, my Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, you'd see that stuff if you did a little bit of research, just a little bit, which is kind of concerning for a conservative media outlet that you guys got things so wrong on so many things. Number 7.
On Twitter the other day.
Yeah,
look, I keep tabs on the hashtag MDPolitics tab. I'm sure you do as well, Greg.
Not as much.
And there was a tweet about a rally.
All right, first off, before I even get started about me, it's pretty amazing your confidant there does not keep tabs on MD Politics hashtag like you assume they did, but they don't. Anyway, if you did a simple search on @CaptainBurrs and hashtag MD Politics, you would see, and this would also cement the fact that I live here, that I voted last year in Maryland, and you can see who I voted for, and then I also promoted people in all those elections and made some, Photoshop banners or whatever for them and posted this stuff out. And the funny thing is, 3 of my tweets in regards to Maryland politics with MD Politics are half of what your Twitter likes are with like 20,000 posts. We'll get to that a little bit later though. Actually, you know what? Let's just get into that right now. I'm tired of listening to the radio show because it's so inaccurate, which I guess says something for their entire website and, being. But let's get into it. So let's look at their reach, because in one of their posts on Facebook, they said, "You've never heard of Captain Burrs," which I don't really understand that. So let's just see how much our messages are getting out there compared to each other. Let's try that. So first off, let's take a look at Facebook. On Facebook, we actually are relatively close. You have about 100 more likes than me. So I would call that pretty much even. Now, let's take a look at YouTube. You'd think that a media outlet in regards to conservatives would want to put some videos out, do some outreach or something like that. Let's take a look at how many, subscribers you got there. Oh, wow, look, you have 1 subscriber with 3 videos. Holy shit. You guys are doing a bang-up job. Let's take a look at me for a second. Over 43,000 subscribers and 9.2 million video views. I think we can see who's the winner in this category. Now let's go look at Twitter. So on Twitter, I have about 650 followers, something like that. I don't use it a lot, okay? I stuttered. Are you gonna make fun of that again? I don't use it that much. Not on it all the time. So the fact that I have 688, I guess kind of makes sense, right? For the people that have tons of subscribers on or followers on there, you got to be on there all the time and posting stuff all the time. I got a life, don't have time for that shit. But let's take a look at yours. So look at yours. You got what, 2,400, I guess, something like that. Just doing this off the top of my head, 2,400. You got more than me, many multiples more than me. Okay, so I guess you got me there. Oh, but wait a second. Let's look at how much that actually means. Let's look at your outreach. Let's compare likes. So for someone with 688 followers, you'd think I'd have less likes than someone who has 2,400 followers, right? So let's look. What do you have, 53, 54, 55, something like that? All right, well, let's take a look at mine. Whoa, 1,200. I have 1,200 likes with 688 followers. But that's not all. Let's look at this. The number of tweets you've put out and I've put out. Red Maryland's put out 19,000 plus tweets, right? I've put out 9,000. I've put out half the number of tweets as you, and I've gotten, I don't know how many multiples of, more likes than you. So obviously my likes are more engaging than yours. I mean, the funny thing is, for every 7 tweets I put out, I get a like. You have to put out 373 posts to get one single like. Now the funny thing is, you guys have a whole bunch of people working there for you and working with you. I'm just one dude on the internet getting much more outreach than a group of people trying to do, a similar thing. So if this rally was so concerning to conservatives, I mean, in regards to winning elections, and it's going to take away from people, voting or whatever, even though we could promote that at the rally, but God forbid you think outside the box. If this was such a problem for conservatives, I mean, let's think about it. Matt Schlapp, we all know who that is, right? Conservative leader on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, always, pushing out conservative ideas. Leader of CPAC, we all know who that is, right? Hopefully you do. Why would he say that he loves the idea of this rally if this was such a dire thing, a problem for getting people elected? I said I would let you all know, and even Red Maryland know, what they could have done differently. What would have been the best thing for them to do? Number one, their very first interaction with me shouldn't, and I know this by being someone who interacts with companies, I review gear, I work with companies in regards to gun courses, and if there's something that doesn't work right, I reach out to them. I say, hey, I had this problem with your product. How should we resolve this? Can you send me something? I'll test it out, see if it breaks again, or see if it's up to par. I put in my reviews, respectfully, this product didn't work for XYZ. But I reach out to the company first. I want to know what kind of customer service they have, where they stand. But you didn't do that. Your very first interaction with me was on Twitter to shame the rally. And you're a conservative media outlet. Maybe that's why Democrats win in Maryland. I don't know. But maybe that's why. Because they know Republicans aren't connected. And that is pathetic. I recommend you take a different approach to people. If you have people on your side who maybe aren't doing something that is, in your eyes, what they should do, maybe you could do something like this. Hey, Captain Burrs, I see you have a huge following and you're really garnering a lot of support in regard to your rally. We would like to be a part of this, and would you mind if we came by, talked to people, maybe spoke at the rally, and had people go out and work with us after the rally? I mean, that's ultimately what you said at the end of your radio show that I should have done. Just knowingly, even though I don't live in the city of Annapolis, I should have known this and done this. Okay, I don't know everything. I'll be the first to tell you that. But maybe you should have reached out and said something like that. I mean, I'm sure it will get you farther in your media, sphere, media outreach, if you reach out to people and have conversations with them. And then if they're a dick, blast them. But for your first interaction with someone who is new to the state, I mean, new, like 2013 new, And someone who's trying to be active and get gun rights, push forward, get excitement for gun rights, you think that'd be someone you want to, align yourself with. But no. That's your first thing. And then you just, double, triple, quadruple down on it. And then you call me a snowflake. The conservative movement in this state is pretty crappy at the moment from what I've seen. My interactions with people, which I'm a very positive person. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I go about things level-headed. And I actually go on social media and interact with people. And people might say, oh, you're arguing with people. No, I've come to some really interesting conclusions with people and changed their minds in regards to guns on social media. And part of that is because I use their language to talk to them about guns and about the Second Amendment. But supposedly, I'm not sure what to do, right? Anyway, hopefully this opens your eyes. Hopefully people can see Red Maryland for who they are, a bunch of fakes, hashtag fake news. So I think I've said enough about Red Maryland. You wanted to do something on your radio show. I just wanted to return the favor and defend myself because you didn't offer for me to be on your radio show. So I thought I'd make my own video responding to your critiques in regards to the rally and in regards to myself.